Welcome to Half the Metal.
What's this, a character review? It's been ages! Yeah, we were long overdue for one, but don't get too excited, as this one is gonna be pretty short.
And for good reason, as you'll see when we dive in.
So meet Gears. This figure was released in 1994 with no original body parts. Yeah, he's a repaint of the Barricade figure. Even his name is recycled because Hasbro first used that for an Autobot. I kinda feel they missed an opportunity here to be a bit tongue-in-cheek, because they could have given him a color scheme similar to the Transformer as a nod.
As long as I'm talking about the name.
There was another G.I. Joe character in the Spy Troops line called Switch Gears. And at first I thought this was another case of Hasbro losing a trademark, so they changed the name a little, like calling Clutch Double Clutch for a while. But no, Switch Gears is a completely different Joe. Now, I've always been very reluctant to review this figure and character.
Why?
Well, I do own one, but it's mint in a mint-sealed box with his vehicle, and I'm not about to open that one up.
Because that would be like burning a stack of $100 bills.
Yeah, these sets tend to go for big bucks nowadays. It's kinda weird how much some G.I. Joe stuff from 1994 is worth, like that ugly-ass Countdown figure, which I also have on card.
Okay, at this point I'm just showing off.
What I'm saying is I wasn't comfortable reviewing a figure that I couldn't hold in my hands, but in the end, it is just another use of the Barricade mold, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do a video on it. And since it is the Barricade mold, we can compare it to those figures. I'm gonna be honest here, this is the dullest looking of all three. The blue and silver isn't very exciting. The only thing that stands out is the helmet, but of course they had to make it puke neon green. Oh, and we'll be getting back to that helmet later.
Still, it could have been worse.
As the prototype that you see on the back of the box has all silver parts in that same green. Still, at least with the prototype, the helmet doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. Kinda weird they kept the green but only for the helmet. There had to be a third option between dull and ugly, but this is what we got. Incidentally, if you look at the box, you see Hasbro being cheap again, as there is no card art, there's no figure art, there's no vehicle art. It's all just pictures of the prototype, for both the figure and the mech. Back to the figure. Overall, yeah, Gears has the Barricade mold, so he's still weird, but in the context of the previous uses, he's bland. And that was the only figure Gears ever got. Not just in the original line, which is logical since 1994 was the last year, and this was a brand new character, but also ever. There was never a figure of him in the more modern lines.
That means it's time to talk about the character, starting with the file card and the box. And pretty much finishing with those two.
First of all, he's part of Star Brigade and a power fighter to boot.
Or is he?
The subline of the subline Star Brigade is called Power Fighters, but if you look at the bottom of the front, the toy is called Power Fighter with Gears figure. So the Battle Mech suit is the Power Fighter and Gears is just the operator. You'd think they would give the mech a name of its own instead of the generic Power Fighter designation. Now, this guy is part of Star Brigade, and the file card states he is wearing a spacesuit.
Yeah, told you I was gonna have to say more about the helmet.
The helmet of a spacesuit that in no way covers the lower half of his face. You know, the part that has the mouth, an orifice used for breathing. This is like the third figure from 1994 that has this problem. None of them are Batman, they can't breathe in space.
Are they trying to kill all their space guys?
Anyway, let's look at the text of the file card now. His real name is Joseph Moran. I'm sorry, I mean Marone. Or Marone, not sure. Now, there was a college soccer coach called Joe Marone, but I'm not sure this is a reference since the middle names and places of birth don't match. His rank is 03 or Captain, which makes him one of the most high-ranking Joes considering most of them are sergeants or corporals. His specialties are Chief Engineer and Research and Development.
And now for his crimes.
He's a genius, and his first invention was integrating human muscles and brainwaves with robotic battle armor and computer circuitry. This was done to bring Robo-Joe to life. Yeah, Gears created Robo-Joe.
He's history's greatest monster!
This tech also led to the creation of the Power Fighter mech suit, which I haven't said much about because it's an Aliens ripoff, if I ever saw one. And like I said, I'm not gonna be taking it out of the packaging. Speaking of ripoffs, I've said a few times Barricade always reminded me of the Power Rangers, but his first figure predates that TV show, so that's just a coincidence. Power Fighter Gears, though, Yeah, the Mighty Morphin TV show started in 1993, and this figure is from 94, so I can't help but think this was inspired by that show's success.
So we're not getting much of a personality.
He's really smart and an inventor, not much to go on. And since he is from the end of the original G.I.Joe line, he obviously didn't appear in the comics or cartoons of the time. So there's nothing else, especially since he never got a modern figure. It's pretty clear the main attraction for these toys were the mech suits, though I appreciate they get a bit of backstory on the box and file card. But they just had to drag Robo-Joe into it, didn't they? Like they were proud of it or something. And that was Gears. Dull figure, genius, pretty forgettable. The most remarkable things about him are the mech suit and how insanely expensive a sealed box set is nowadays.
Oh, you're staying in your cardboard and plastic prison forever. Well, I'll see you next time, everybody. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing.